Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Peace, honor, and respect to you brothers that's out there laboring, edifying, rightly dividing the word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to you believers out there. Hakim Wa'akwa. Alright, and I was on YouTube, and I came across this little, I guess you could call it a mini documentary. Well, just this little short vid. And you see the title, it says Saudi Arabia sees massive cultural shift after Crown Prince's reforms. All right, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let the whole thing play. Then I'm gonna just dissect what was said in this video. All right, Lord willing, and be edifying. So here we go.
Saudi Arabia's Mohammed bin Salman is many things. He is the de facto ruler of the Islamic kingdom, its prime minister, and the crown prince too. In recent years, though, he has also emerged as perhaps the biggest proponent of reform in Saudi Arabia. MBS views such reforms as crucial to not just attracting investments, but also forging a closer relationship with the most consequential countries of the world. MBS has a vision which is perhaps best put in perspective by this remark of his. I believe the Middle East will be the new Europe. In 5 years, Saudi Arabia will be a completely different country. This is the Saudi war. This is my war. I want to see the Middle East on top of the world before I die. With social and economic reforms well underway, Saudi Arabia seems to be turning focus to the moderation of religion. Saudi Arabia is the seat of Islam in the world today, both religious and political. However, Saudi Arabia is also the same country that is known to have given the world Wahhabism, or a radical knockoff of political Islam. A recent Washington Institute of Near East Policy public opinion survey suggests that Saudi Arabia increasingly favors religious moderation. 43% of those surveyed agreed that Saudis should listen to those among us who are trying to interpret Islam in a more moderate, tolerant, and modern direction. Only 20% Saudis agreed with this statement about 4 years ago. Evidently, there is a shift underway in Saudi Arabia, complemented by a strong undercurrent in favor of a more modern and moderate religious outlook. Men and women in Saudi Arabia can dance together in all-night concerts organized across the kingdom. Classrooms can now have both boys and girls receiving education together. Today, overtly hardcore religious curriculum has been replaced with a Saudi-first education. Saudi Arabia will no longer fund mosques and Wahhabi educational institutions in other countries. The Saudi religious police, which not until very long ago was responsible for upholding morality in the kingdom's society, has witnessed a remarkable cut down in its authority. They have neither investigative nor detention powers and are not allowed to punish morally inappropriate behavior any longer. MBS has himself spoken out against radical Islam. In 2021, MBS rebuked Wahhabi scholars, accusing them of falsifying Islamic doctrines. He then detained a major Wahhabi and charged him with crimes against the monarchy. Saudi Arabia is expected to normalize ties with the Jewish nation of Israel soon. When done, it would mark the most remarkable watering down of Saudi Arabia's long-held hostility towards the idea of a Zionist state in the Middle East. This will in turn create a more acceptable environment for both political Islam and Judaism to coexist in the region, as more and more Arab kingdoms would feel free to interact with Israel. Saudi Arabia is also investing a lot in rebranding itself as a kingdom that is accepting of sports and entertainment. Using the Public Investment Fund, which is controlled by MBS, Riyadh is especially stepping up its influence in the world of sports, buying major football clubs and getting big players to play in its own clubs. The PIF is the investment vehicle behind splashy deals in sports, such as Saudi Arabia's takeover of Newcastle United and the LIV Golf merger with the PGA Tour. Portuguese star Cristiano Ronaldo, Brazil's Neymar, French striker Karim Benzema, Sadio Mane of Senegal, and a number of others have all taken up contracts with teams in the Saudi Football League. It is estimated their various deals might top $1 billion in salaries for around 20 international players. All of this fits into MBS's Vision 2030 for Saudi Arabia, whose primary motive is to make societal and economic reforms the bedrock for economic diversification away from oil. But will Indian clerics follow Saudi Arabia's lead? Hardline clerics funded by Wahhabi money have...
And that's pretty much, because it's about to go into how, I think this is an Indian reporter, all right, journalist, she's about to go into how India should change. But you brothers and sisters heard that, and when I watched this, I want to go back here. Now, when I watched this, this caught my eye first. It says, I believe the Middle East will be the new Europe. See, in 5 years, Saudi Arabia will be a completely different country. All right, a completely different country. And the first scripture that came to mind was this right here. Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Now, when you go into the wine, that's going into the philosophies, the ideology, the doctrine, and that her is going into none other than America, all right? Babylon the Great, the whore. Continuing on in verse 3, it says, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, all right? This is parabolic talk going into spiritual fornication. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, right? Because when you think about America, it's about consumerism, all right? That's why you might get a t-shirt or this, and it might say made in Taiwan, made in China, made in Japan, made in Honduras, whatever, all right? Now, I'm not saying we don't, make things here, but America is all about consumerism, all right? That's why I said the merchants of the earth are wax rich. That's why all of the merchants is going to be well. When America go down, all of these other merchants, per se, these kings of the earth and all of these people, they're going to mourn because it ain't going to be no more money to be made, all right? That's why America is a whore, all right? And what happens to a whore? She get ran down until eventually it's a wrap for her. But this is the first scripture that came to mind. And see, when you come to when you talk about Saudi Arabia, you're talking about hardcore Islam. That's why, and I did this, all right, because matter of fact, before I do that, let's do this, because see, Esau Edom, he been wanting, knock down that force field of, that hardcore Islam in Saudi Arabia, man. All right. Now, when you go to, now I'm not saying they not about to be Muslims no more, but what I'm saying is the bending of the rules. He said in 5 years, Saudi Arabia will be a completely different country. All right. Who knows? They might start accepting the ABC community. The ABC community might, be, if this society was to continue, and Lord will it don't, 10, 15, 20 years from now, it can be somebody out there with a rainbow hijab on. All right. So when you go to Genesis 3, all right, in verse 1, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. Now, this is parabolic talk, okay? Anybody new coming across this video, you brothers and sisters that's been in the truth for, you already know what it is. But if you're new coming across this video, this is parabolic talk. This is not talking about a snake, no. This is talking about what happens when somebody's being sneaky or being evil. You'd be like, man, he a snake. She a snake. I wouldn't trust that person. They a snake. All right. This is the parabolic talk. Now this is going into that spirit, that Edomite spirit. All right. Because Esau, Edom, it moves like a serpent. You know, you gotta think about Jake. They're a little bit more, you know, they yell at, cuss you out, punch you in the face if they don't like you. But see, Esau, they'll smile in your face. Say you got a manager at the job, you working at the job, and you do something. That manager will smile, you know, act like everything all right, and then the next day you be fired, you know. But let's go into that word subtle, all right? Because this is how Esau moved, and this is how he is gradually getting the Saudi Arabia rulership to basically drink of that wine and become drunk. And this guy right here, MBS, he's already drunk of that wine. All right. Now, when you go into subtle, what do it say? It says subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly. All right. You see crafty again. Let's go into that word crafty. Let's look up crafty. All right. Let me do this. Let's look up that word. Now, when you go into that word crafty, it says clever at achieving one's aim by indirect or deceitful methods. Yeah. And this is how Esau Edom has got everybody to drink of the wine. And when I speak about Esau Edom, I'm talking about the so-called white man who's in power. It's not the Saudis. They in power in Saudi Arabia, but on a global scale, the so-called white man is in power. And the Saudis is drinking the wine, all right? That's why they say they're going to be the new Europe. Now, we know America stems from Great Britain, all right? But I'm going to prove through scriptures that even though he didn't say America, it's still the ideology and the philosophies of America, Babylon the Great, because America sets the tone for the whole world, all right, in wickedness, all right, and whatever, okay? It says clever at achieving one's aim by indirect or deceitful methods. Look at the condition of our people, all right? Just think about how in our community, being a gangster, being a thug is like, yeah, that's the way. And now women being hoes and strippers and thoughts is being the way. That's clever at destroying the Israelites indirectly and directly and by deceitful methods, man. All right, let's get some of these similar words. It says cunning, wily, artful, devious, tricky, dishonest, underhand, deceitful. And see, this is part of that sword, low key, because Esau been blessed with the sword. A part of the sword ain't always just a bomb or a missile or a gun. A lot of it is through the doctrine, man. All right. And this is a part of his Esau have a gift for being deceitful. All right. Let's get it. All right. Let's go into it. Because these things start popping in my head when I watch this video. Now, when you go to Revelation 20, and I'm going to start at verse 1, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Now, the angel that came down was speaking about Yahushua, all right? And that great chain is representing slavery, all right? And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. And this is talking about Esau, all right? The so-called white man, their power structure was done. They didn't have power. And this is where you get the dark ages from, all right? And that's when the Lord took Esau out of power, and then the Israelites was ruled. You might hear the Moors and all that. That was Israelites, okay? when we was in power, you go into the Byzantine Empire, that was Israelites, okay? That's when the white man wasn't in power. That's why they call it the Dark Ages. All right, verse 3, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, right? That he should deceive, see, the nations no more. Because deception is a big part of what this white man used, all right? Till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. And we're in that little season right now. That's why when you jump down to verse 7, and the heading says what? Satan freed, doomed. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive. See, deception is a big part of Esau weaponry, man. That's a part of his weaponry, deception, and should go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, right? And that means all over the world, because Esau, what happened was, this is going into the Renaissance period, when he can't start coming back into power and came back into power. And what did he use? Deception. By what? Using iconoclasm. All right, look that word up, iconoclasm. All right, where he painted the Heavenly Father a white man. He painted our Lord Yahushua a white man. Even the angels white, little white babies being naked. That ain't how the angels look. He painted even certain kings and queens, he'll tell you they white. Even certain acts of entertainment. All right, and all types of things. He defaced artwork, because if you go in certain museums or wherever in Russia, they have black men depicted. All right, they'll have a black Jesus, what they call, but they'll have black men, but then Esau tell you they were white. That's iconoclasm. That's that deception. All right. That was a part of that deception, man. All right. And this is how Esau, matter of fact, let me do this. Let's look up deceive. All right. Let's look that up before I go to the next thing. It says to, and what's that word? Let's get that word. Planaho. All right. Deception, deceive. It says to cause to stray, to lead astray, lead aside from the right way, right? And all of these years of
Strong's G 4105.
Slaki.
Planao.
I knew it was late. All right. Planaho. All right. But continuing on, it says what? Lead aside from the white way. Right. And see, our way is coming back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And he led our people away from that. That's why you got gangster culture for the dudes, thought culture for the men. Or either they a baby boy or the girl, she drama and got, our people is in a bad condition when we got led astray. All right. And they're trying to lead these Saudis astray. They want them to be led away from the hardcore Islam. They want them to have, what was the word they used? More acceptance. See, this is what this guy doing, because if you think about it, look, they said that men and women now can dance in clubs together. Okay, men and boys and girls can be in school, and they had those police, like those, they can't punish immoral acts. Think about that. So if you're using immoral behavior, you can't get punished no more. Because I was watching this documentary a while ago where they had the the Quran police. And if your woman didn't have covered up, they'd pull you up. Hey, man, make your girl cover up. Things like, nope, they don't want that. It says they promoting gender equality now. All right. They relaxed the rules for the Hajj. Okay. They're more into sports now. They signed Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's a famous soccer player. See? Tourism, they more on that. Why? Because they're drinking of the wine. He said that he want the Middle East to be, he believed the Middle East will be the new Europe. All right. And we know Europe is just like America, man. They into the ABC community. gender equality, all of that. All right, which America pushed that out there. All right, that's why you had America. If you don't accept the ABC community, America come visit you like, look, if you want to get down with us, we'll give you some money. If not, we're going to cut you off. All right. They did that to certain African nations. All right. So, let's go to this real quick because I looked this up. Wahhabism. It says Wahhabism advocates a purification of Islam, rejects Islamic theology and philosophy developed after the death of Prophet Muhammad, and calls for strict adherence to the letter of the Quran and Hadith. All right. So this is a strict adherence. Now I said, what are the beliefs? It says for more than 2 centuries, all right, Wahhabism has been Saudi Arabia's dominant faith, right? But now he's relaxing it because he's drunk of that wine, all right? It is an austere, all right, form of Islam that insists on a literal interpretation of the Quran. Strict Wahhabis believe that all those who don't practice their form of Islam are heathens and enemies. And guess what? It's going to be older people or people that's just really into Wahhabism. They're not going to be able to say it or express it, but they're going to really count this guy, MBS, a heathen and an enemy. Best believe that. Best believe they already talking about, you got people that's into that. They probably already he probably got a lot of people that don't like him, all right? Because they probably like, nah, man. They already see what he doing. And they probably like, nah, this ain't what we supposed to be doing. All right? When you go over there to Saudi Arabia, that's one of them strict Islam countries, but they're getting more relaxed because why? They drunk of the wine. And again, Esau Edom been wanting to get them. Now, when you go to Revelation 13, all right? Because now it said Europe. Now check this out, Revelation 13:1. It says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Now when you go into that beast, that's going into Esau Edom. You're going into the ancient Roman Empire, which America is nothing but the revised Roman Empire. All right. Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And when you go into those 7 heads and 10 horns, you're going into NATO and EU. All right. NATO and the European Union. Right. So now let's go to Revelation 17, because the beast is speaking about Esau, ancient Roman Empire, all right? And America would be the new Rome. Revelation 17:1. See where it say the head and the doom of Babylon. Now, and there came one of the angels which has the 7 vials, and had talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. See? And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Right? Everybody drunk of that. Again, look at the condition of our people. Look at it's one of the biggest gay parades in Tel Aviv. That's supposed to be the Holy Land. Ain't the real Jews supposed to be over there? Nah, it is some real Israelites over there, but those small hats, those fake J's, no. All right, they wouldn't have. You ain't gonna have that when the real Israelites inhabit that land. All right. Now, verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. See, that woman is representing who? That's that same her. America, Babylon the Great. And when you sit on something, you steering it. You basically, because America has dominion over NATO and EU. All right. Basically what America says goes. All right. So when it comes to these European nations and NATO and all that, America is the big dog. See, that's why it's the woman sitting on the beast. Okay? And I saw a woman sit upon the scarlet colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Right. Okay, causing everybody to go off. America push out wickedness for everybody to go off. All right. He said the new Europe, because the Saudis really they really don't like America. All right. They might tolerate Europe a little, but it don't matter, because if you adopt what Europe adopt, then you're gonna by default be adopting. You're gonna be adopting what America hold fast to, and you're doing the things of the sports, the tourism, the gender equality, the relaxing of the rules of the hijab. You can't punish immoral acts. That sounds like America, because if you punish a moral act over here, you'll be seen as wicked. All right. If you punish one of them ABC people, or if you talk about a woman who loose, you seen as wicked, man. All right. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with golds and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. Right. And the Lord has opened this mystery up to us. We know who that woman is. We know what country is Babylon. We know it's America, man. U.S. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Right. Because the whole planet is basically moving off the wicked vibration of Esau Edom. All right. And America push out a lot of that wickedness. All right. America push out a lot of that wickedness, man. And that's why in this, he said, I believe the Middle East will be the new Europe. See, his aim is to be more basically like the Edomites. Because when he say that, he's going into the Edomite power structure, even in Europe. He wants the Middle East to be like that. All right. Because these is Ishmaelites. These are the so-called Arabs. All right. They're a different nation. All right. But he wants to follow suit. Why? Because he's been made drunk with that wine. He see how they move, and he know with the strict, the Wahhabism, what they've been doing in Saudi Arabia, they're not gonna get the same, it's not gonna get the same attention and revenue like the Western part of the world. See. And then I heard somewhere where he know in the years to come, he said the oil, because they're in Saudi Arabia, oil, that's how they getting paid, for real. And right, his family and his people is one of those merchants that has waxed rich through the abundance of the delicacies. Why? Because consumerism, we use the most oil. All right. That's why we've been in business with Saudi. All right. Even though they're moving with China and Russia and all that, we put them on with that oil. They are on with the oil, but he know he's gonna have to switch it up. He was saying, because it's not gonna be the same in the future. So now he like, look, we gonna have to get down and lay down. Basically, they said he said in Saudi Arabia will be a completely different country, and that means, guess what? It's gonna be a whole, when he say completely different, if this society continue, Lord willing don't, it will be different. And these are just the things that came to my mind. Lord willing, it was edifying. All right. I just, these scriptures popped in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna, bring it out for brothers and sisters. But again, Lord willing, it was edifying. To the next lesson. Shalom.